Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you're hopping on. I'm so glad that you could join me. My name is Jay McBride. I am the pastor of the Glory View Church of the Nazarene here in Homer, Alaska. Glad you are joining us today. This is our second video as we were launching this. In the days ahead, I will quit counting how many videos there are because I will lose track of how many videos this is. But we're just getting started with these. Our last video, I introduced you to our time, introduced you to the next several weeks. We're going to be studying and kind of coming around this idea of circles and cycles, learning the rhythms of discipleship. What does it look like as we learn about who Jesus is? You know, you've maybe heard people say something along the lines, maybe you haven't, but it goes something like this, that we learn about learning new truths. And sometimes I think we have to remind ourselves maybe what this means, or what we're trying to understand about it is, as we learn who Jesus is, the truth of who he is in the scriptures, we're not learning new. And when people say something like we're learning new, it's not that we're learning something new as in we're taking something from scripture and it's something completely new that's not found in here. What it is that Jesus is revealing the truth in a new way. He's revealing it in a way that we've not before understood it. In the seasons of the life we're in, that's how it is. Seasons are cycles. Sometimes he has to bring us back to the basics and show us again. And as we go there, we learn those again and again like a circle, so that we can always be fresh in what Jesus wants to teach us. And so we're learning the rhythms of discipleship. How do we follow Jesus? And these different elements about intimacy and affirmation and obedience and destiny, all these things that cycle together. And as we go through them, there is just a freshness to following Jesus, and we want to be able to do that. Today, I want to direct your attention. If you have a Bible, you can go to Mark chapter 3, and we're going to be in verse 13. And it says this: Afterward, Jesus went up on the mountainside and called himself the men he wanted to be his close companions. So they went up on the mountainside to join him. And he appointed the 12, whom he named apostles. He wanted them to be continually at his side as his friends, and so that he could send them out to preach and have authority to heal the sick and to cast out demons. I want to just give this quick thought today for you, that Jesus' call to be a disciple is about drawing close, abiding, leaning in, and being with him. And as we are with Jesus, he is able to then send us to go for Jesus. So we are with him. He wanted his disciples, look at that. He wanted them to be by his side as friends so that he could send them out. The only way we can go, the only way that we're being sent, is by being with Jesus. He wants you to be with him. And in Matthew chapter 9, another scripture, Matthew chapter 9, Matthew chapter 10. Chapter 10 is another one of those places. Chapter 10, Jesus gathered his disciples and imparted them to authority to cast out demons, to heal sick in every disease. And then he sends them out. He commissions them in verses 5, 7, 8. As you go, preach this message. Heaven's kingdom is accessible, close enough to touch. You must continually bring healing to lepers and those who are sick. I mean, this is the call. As we're with Jesus, he sends us out. He gives us, he puts within us. For the early disciples, this is the lifestyle. A student, a rabbi, Jesus was called a rabbi, a student or an apprentice, literally meant that you would follow this person until you became like that person. Jesus wanted the disciples to be close enough to him that they were with him, that they knew who he was, they knew his heart, that he was able then to send them out with the same likeness that he was. This is discipleship. We are growing, and we're going in these circles and cycles of our seasons to learn more and more and more and more about who Jesus is. And so in Matthew chapter 9, that's what he does in verses 35 through 38. As he's going out, as he's walking in the region with the message of God's King, he taught in meeting in homes. Wherever he went, he demonstrated God's power When he saw the crowds, this is verse 36, Matthew 9, he saw the crowds of people, his heart was deeply moved, because they seemed weary and helpless like wandering sheep without a shepherd. And he turned to his disciples. The harvest is huge and ripe, and there are not enough harvesters to bring it all in. There is such an opportunity before us. And when Jesus looked at all the brokenness that could be seem overwhelming, what he saw was an opportunity to sow. So today, as you are with Jesus, spend time, lean into him, draw close to him, because he wants you to go for him. He wants your heart to pound with the same thing that moves his. God bless you today. Love you guys. See you next time.